Hello and welcome to Summoner Summer. I'm your host, Era. This is Game 2 of the relegation games between LMQ and XDG. Now, as far as the actual team comps go here, LMQ has a really good global comp with the Nocturne Twisted Fate. They've also picked the teleport onto that top lane Shyvana, meaning that they've got 3 globals across the map. We actually just saw CLG use this comp against TSM in the NA playoffs. However, XDG actually has relatively good anti-dive, which is what Shyvana, Twisted Fate, and Nocturne is. And that anti-dive comes in the form of the Lee Sin ultimate and the Orianna Shockwave. The Ori Shockwave does a great job of displacing people and doing an incredible amount of damage, allowing your team to kite backwards, and the Lee Sin can kick out that Nocturne, who's the main damage dealer that will be diving in, hopefully allowing Orianna and Lucian to peel off the rest of LMQ so that they can come out with a victorious team fight. Now for the second game in a row, we see XDG opt into this lane swap. Now, part of it is the Mundo vs Shyvana, which is a pretty rough lane. However, Lucian does have the ability to bully Twitch, especially with that Thresh. So what the lane swaps really tell me is that XDG is afraid of straight up laning versus LMQ. Except for in the mid lane, of course, where their star player ManCloud should be able to hold his own. Now, once again, we see that LMQ is going to take that tower slightly faster because they are in the bot lane. There isn't that armor buff on the tower, and they do have that Nocturne with that slightly faster pushing power. However, this time, XDG is able to return with the same 2 towers top. LMQ does still come out ahead in the end though, because they are going to be able to pick up a free dragon after they get these 2 towers. This is the first Twisted Fate ultimate of the game. It actually comes in before Nocturne has leveled up his ultimate. Now, we see that Zhao Wei Zhao's Twisted Fate is a little rusty locking in that red card, but it will be enough to get the first blood. Here we see Benny trying to take the fight to the source of the globals, trying to engage onto that Nocturne and Twisted Fate using his teleport, which typically is exactly what you want to do. However, Twisted Fate has incredibly good siege, and LMQ's been sitting in this mid lane for a while now, and those wild cards have gotten XDG so low that they simply couldn't follow up on the teleport in from Mundo. In the end, it's really just miscommunication from XDG, because that teleport never should have come in while the rest of XDG was really too low to fight. And because of that, LMQ's not only going to get the mid tower, but they're also able to secure that second dragon of the game. Now 6 minutes later, we're going to see another dragon fight. However, XDG goes in off of a hook onto Shyvana, and Ackerman's just so tanky at this point that you're not going to be able to burst him down. And most importantly is ManCloud is never able to get a shockwave off during this entire fight. And we saw last game just how clutch those Orianna shockwaves can be. This ends up being dragon number 3 for LMQ. Now, XDG is going to really use their comp to the fullest here. They're going to use the Nocturne and the Twisted Fate ultimate to get a great engage, and they are able to kill 2 people before Mundo even shows up into the fight. And by the time he teleports in, he's in the middle of 4 people, allowing him to be quickly bursted down. And at that point, the fight's essentially over. This results in a free tower mid for LMQ. This 5-man push in the bot lane is a response to the push mid by XDG. Now, ManCloud's gonna recall, but Zuna opts to stay, which means that XDG is conceding this inhibitor to LMQ. Now, this isn't a bad trade for XDG if Zuna is able to get that inhibitor mid. If they can trade 1 for 1, especially with how far behind they are, this would be great. Except LMQ doesn't decide to simply back off. They're gonna engage, and they're gonna go for the win. Picking up those 2 kills puts this in a 5v2 situation. LMQ can essentially end the game right here before Zuna even takes that inhibitor. But ManCloud comes in with a clutch 3-man Orianna ultimate, which is enough to deter LMQ from doing more than just taking that one Nexus tower. This 4v4 engage by Xmithy was almost perfect, kicking the Fed Vasily in the middle of XDG. The only problem was that Orianna died before getting the shockwave off, and that by the time Zuna shows up to the fight, the rest of XDG is dead. This is going to result in a second inhibitor for LMQ. And that Nocturne ultimate is all that's needed for LMQ to pick up that kill onto ManCloud, making it 5v4 and allowing them to easily close out this game. Now, I believe that if XDG wants to come back, all they need to do is handle their nerves. Most of the mistakes that they've been making have been simple communication errors. Let's remember that this is the team that's won 3rd place in the LCS for 2 splits in a row before this one and went to Worlds. This is a team that is more than competent. They just need to get their nerves under control to come back and have a chance in this series.